Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out this morning. My name is Russ Stark. I'm the Chief Resilience Officer for the City of St. Paul, and it is great to see so many people out here this morning on this beautiful Minnesota April day, ready to clean up our parks. First of all, I wanted to say Happy Earth Day, technically a couple of days ago, but Happy Earth Day to everyone. A historic week in many ways, with President Biden declaring the country's intentions of reducing greenhouse gas emissions 50% by the end of the decade, which, as we know, is what the science tells us we need to do, and a really big deal for the country. So a really great morning to be out here celebrating again with the beautiful weather. I have the pleasure of doing work for the mayor around climate action and sustainability. And so the ways in which we protect and enhance our natural environment, particularly along the river, is a huge part of that. And I'm just really glad to be with you all today. You all, as community members and frankly community leaders, are really guiding the way in this work for us. We are following your lead, and we so appreciate what you do day in and day out to make St. Paul the great city that it is, and to keep the river as clean as we can, as well as our parks. Just recently, the mayor and city council created our Climate Justice Advisory Board, which is going to be advising the mayor and council about how we do this climate and sustainability work in a way that benefits our most vulnerable populations and communities across St. Paul. And we're really excited about that new opportunity to collaborate with a bunch of our community partners. We are here today with a bunch of partners. You'll see them here. Others are going to mention them as well, but they include the Minnesota Conservation Corps, the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative, and many, many others. I'm sure I forgot some right there, but thank you all for being here. And without any further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my boss, our mayor, Melvin Carter.
This is our river. This is at least one of, if not the most important waterway in our country. And we know that in St. Paul and in Minnesota, we're the ones who have to send this river to the rest of the country. And so I'm always pleased on these balmy, beautiful April mornings when we get a chance to get together and say, we're gonna send a clean river to the rest of these towns, to the rest of these cities down through our country. Last year, over 8,000 volunteers put in over 8,000 hours to help us clean the river. Think about what a better river we have because we're here. And we're not alone because we're connected to other cities and other communities all along the Mississippi River who work together to be good stewards of our river. So today, this is a part of a citywide cleanup. We have 21 organizations volunteering and hosting cleanups across our city this morning as we speak as well. And we're excited to join, in particular, with MRCTI, the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative. We're excited to join, in particular, with the city of St. Louis and the city of Baton Rouge, who are also along the Mississippi River, in this initiative to say, we're going to clean up this river together. We're going to track how plastics kind of flow down the river. You know, it's estimated that about 40% of the plastics that come through the Gulf of Mexico come down through and go down into our ocean, come down through our Mississippi River. We're going to track how that happens. We are going to release a plastic bottle today with a chip in it. So that we can see how that plastic kind of goes down the Mississippi River. I promise we'll pick up more plastic than we put into the river, but we're gonna do this together. And this is a long-term commitment for us because, you know, this river has served St. Paul for a pretty long time. And this river actually is one of the reasons, maybe the principal reason, that we are a city right here. And it is critical for us to practice, to exercise every chance that we get our job of having fun on this river, of coming down and kind of being around each other on this river, of having great events and being around the river, and of ensuring that we are sending a healthy, strong, clean river through this country and to the rest of this country, because this river is such a critical lifeblood of our entire country. So I thank you for being here. I thank you for your partnership. If I just came out here and gave a speech and nobody was here, it wouldn't be a very great event. So you being here is what makes this something. You being here is what makes this noteworthy. You being here is what makes this worth our time. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to say thank you to all of our partners. Parks and Rec is here, MRCTI is here, Conservation Corps is here, the Rotary is here. I know Public Works, St. Paul Public Works has been a part of this. We're working with all the partners on this banner as well. So this is a major initiative that we're all doing together. I specifically want to thank Conservation Corps. Got to thank Russ Stark. He said he works for me, but I don't think that's true. Russ just works for the planet. And I just happen to be like an extra in the story. And I definitely want to thank Director Mike Hom. Where are you, Mike? Who's our director of our Parks and Rec department for the city of St. Paul. Thank you for your work and your commitment to making sure that we have access to green space and play space and great parks and recreation centers and things like that in our community. I know no one more committed to that work than you are, and I really appreciate your commitment to that. Trisha Worley with St. Paul Parks and Rec as well. Where's Trisha? Oh, there she is. Thank you for your work, Trisha. It's good to see you as well. Yeah. And let me tell you, just as an aside, that as we come through this year plus of just crisis after crisis after crisis, and I appreciate you clapping for Trisha, and particularly because I just can't miss the opportunity to tell you that I've gotten a chance to see face to face just how our city employees have just like stood up to this crisis and stood in the way for us in this crisis and helped us. And just this time last year, we had rec workers delivering food to families in need. We had librarians sewing masks by hand, and we had firefighters processing applications for families who needed emergency assistance. And just the way our city employees have seen us through this crisis, seen us through these crises, will always be on my heart. So I appreciate that round of applause that you gave to Trisha. Please take that back to everybody at work and let them know we appreciate all their work. I want to thank Angie Tilgis with the Great River Passage, who's been a critical leader for this, and all the MRCTI staff who are here. Can you raise your hand, all the MRCTI staff who are here with us? Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your work, not just in St. Paul, but all along the river with us, with our sister cities as well. And with that, I want to relinquish the microphone and introduce Mei Yang Lee with Conservation Corps. Thank you. What are you doing next?
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Carter, for inviting Conservation Corps Minnesota and Iowa to speak on behalf of the citywide spring cleanup this year. We are excited about the Mississippi River Plastic Initiative, and we appreciate your dedication to the combat pollution control. And I just want to take a minute to honor you, Mayor Carter. I just want to say, like, meeting you is like meeting Beyonce. Like, she's on top of my list. I met her in my dream, but this is real life. Yes. And she's also married to, as you already know, Jay-Z Carter as well. But I really appreciate just being in the same space with you and everyone here today. My name is Mei Yang Lee, and I use pronouns she, her, and hers. I am the Increasing Diversity in Environmental Careers, known as the IDEC, Program Manager at Conservation Corps Minnesota and Iowa. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that the past few weeks have been very difficult as we watch the deliberation of the Chauvin trial. With the guilty verdicts, justice is served to some capacity. But the truth is, it does not bring George Floyd back. It does not bring Breonna Taylor back. It does not bring Dante Wright back. The list goes on and on and on. So we must continue to work together to end systematic racism. It is important to acknowledge that natural resources organizations have historically benefited from systems that have restricted access to public lands and careers for marginalized groups, and that includes us. As Conservation Corps, we have put time, dedication, energy into our justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion work to challenge the deep-rooted exclusion of marginalized groups. We recognize this work is necessary and feel passionate about making a difference. Our mission is to engage youth and young adults in meaningful service, leadership development, and environmental stewardship. Our vision is a world where everyone has equitable access to nature, is equipped to succeed in career and life, and empowered to make a difference in conserving natural resources. We are committed to providing space and meaningful trainings so our members are prepared to create a more equitable space for everyone. Because at the end of the day, the outdoor belongs to all of us. We are grateful to be able to partner with the City of St. Paul through our Youth Outdoors program, where local high school youth earn a paycheck while learning about the natural environment, their hands-on conservation and community improvement projects. The youth are led by AmeriCorps members in educational and service activities. The Youth Outdoor Program empowers young people to become active, engaged citizens, and leaders in their communities. I would like to give a huge shout out to our youth participants who are here today assisting this event. So if we can turn around and give them a round of applause. Yes. Yeah, I was looking at it that way when I was talking about them. So, and also I would like to acknowledge our alumni, board, and staff members who are also here today. Like Mayor Carter, I am a proud resident and graduate of the St. Paul Public Schools. I decided to pursue an environmental career and feel passionate about helping out my community. It's just great to merge those two together, and everything worked out in the end. I feel fortunate to serve as an AmeriCorps member with Conservation Corps in 2016 and help marginalized communities connect with the outdoors. Now I am a full-time staff member as the IDEC program manager, where I support women, Indigenous, people of color, and people with disabilities to pursue their dream in environmental work in partnership with Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, and Board of Water and Soil Resources. It is such a blessing to support young adults throughout the academic and professional journey. The future is here, and we believe these young people will make a difference. Before we start, I would like to mention Harriet Island holds a fond memory for me personally. This is where I first interacted with my husband in Taysom, Minnesota, and he's right there. I'm going to call you out on that. We watched the fireworks together, but we were volunteering. It wasn't a date or anything like that. This is also where I got chased by several squirrels, not just once, but twice, for eating lunch. And then who can forget Pokemon Go when it was popular? People just sprinting one side to the other. And then for the Conservation Corps, we led the Adopt a River program from 2016 to 2019. So as you get ready to clean Harriet Island today and around the neighborhood, I encourage you to create your own fun memories with your friends, colleagues, or family. I'm excited because I'm going to work with one of my participants who I finally see in 3D. So we are real. So thank you all for taking your time to help today, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Yes, and then I'll have Jen speak next. Yes.
Hello, thank you all for being here today. I'm Jenny Went with MRCTI, the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative. I'm working with Mayor Carter on this plastic pollution initiative. And thank you, Mayor Carter and Mr. Stark, and thanks to the City of St. Paul for your commitment to this initiative. And a great big thanks to Angie Tilgis with the Great River Passage, Parks and Recreation, Public Works, and community partners for all the work that went into this event and all the work that you do for nature. In September 2018, mayors from the Mississippi River announced a commitment with state legislators and companies on an effort to reduce plastic waste in the Mississippi River. This commitment was born out of the need for a collaborative effort to tackle this immense challenge. As cities across the country grapple with plastic waste in their communities and waterways, the Mississippi River cities see it tenfold. Because the Mississippi River is a drainage system for 40% of the continental U.S., plastic litter from 31 states travels through storm drains and tributaries and ends up in the Mississippi River. And as the river ebbs and flows, plastic waste is either left behind in these communities or makes its way to the Gulf and to the ocean. The Mississippi River Plastic Pollution Initiative was designed to address this problem. MRCTI has joined forces with the United Nations Environment Program, the National Geographic Society, University of Georgia, and local governments, organizations, and the education community to make this initiative a reality. The beginning of the intent of this initiative is to take a plastic pollution snapshot through our community science using the Marine Debris Tracker. Data collected here today and throughout our 3 pilot cities, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, St. Louis, Missouri, and St. Paul, Minnesota, which represent the lower, the middle, and upper Mississippi River, will help determine what, where, and how plastic waste makes its way to the river. This information will be used to help policymakers, businesses, and citizens take action. Over 100 organizations in our pilot cities are partners on this initiative, including Mississippi River Network's National Public Program, One Mississippi, who's here today to launch our bottle with his canoe, Michael Anderson, Capital Region Watershed District, Mississippi Park Connection, Great River Passage, and many others that have committed to this initiative. Here to talk about the technology and research behind this initiative, I'd like to introduce Dr. Jenna Jambeck, professor at the College of Engineering at the University of Georgia and a National Geographic Fellow.
Thanks so much, Jenny. It's really an honor to be here and an honor to be a part of this initiative. My time here in Minnesota is especially treasured. It's not only the geographic finish of this initiative and expedition that we're on, but it's also a homecoming for me. I grew up on the banks of the Snake River, which is a tributary to the Mississippi River. So my childhood here really, I think, inspires the work that I do every day. 10 years ago, when we developed Marine Debris Tracker, I think it was only a dream that it could be used for such a wonderful community-based initiative like we see going on right now. And I'm so proud of my team working on the science to really allow communities, organizations, community members to be empowered by the open data that Marine Debris Tracker contains. So besides the community-based data collection we're doing with the app, we're also releasing these GPS-enabled bottle tags into the Mississippi River to learn more about how far plastic could travel down the waterway. We successfully launched these bottles for National Geographic in the Sea to Source expedition along the Ganges River in 2019. But this is the first time we're using this technology in the United States. So I want to acknowledge some people, all the local partners, long-standing programs. This spring cleanup has been happening a long time. I want to thank Mayor Carter, MRCTI, especially Jenny Wendt, Colin Wellenkamp, the United Nations Environment Program North America, who's been a sponsor of this, National Geographic, the entire St. Paul community and beyond. Growing up in a small town outside of here, it's great to include all the people working out in the rural areas as well, for everyone's engagement and help on this issue. So really, you all truly are making a difference here. So anyone can see the data. The Marine Debris Tracker data is free and open, and this bottle tag data will be available about 2 days or so after deployment, and that's all at debristracker.org. Thank you so much, and now I've asked Mayor Carter if you could come up. You are going to pass this bottle on to Michael Anderson.
The relay?
The relay is happening. So, well,
now
here,
look, all the volunteers, if you see this bottle in the river, do not pick it up and throw it in the trash.
Let it go.
This is very expensive. All right.
Let it go.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
You come with me?
Well, come.
Hey, Dick.